Hey everyone, welcome to the Heart Healthy Hustle Show. You're in for a treat today, so stay tuned.
What are you getting after? What seeds are you planting? What are you overcoming? Think big. Think even bigger. Take some risks. God's got your back. Go for it. Don't hold back. Don't ever have regrets in your life. Go fail. Go grow from those things. Live your life.
Your identity is not defined by your successes or your failures.
If you're not happy where you're at, you won't be happy where you're going. Choose to do the things that will make you the person you want to be, that will make you a better person next week and next year.
You're going to have to leave some things you're actually good at behind so that you can find what you're wired for, what you're born for.
Being a world-class entrepreneur is being in every area of life excellent.
It is the little things that are so easy not to do.
The best thing that you can do is assume the best in people.
I want people around the world to believe they can do something great with their life.
If I build the biggest business, but I destroy my physical body and I lose my health, I don't think that's success. While you're on the journey climbing to success, never forget the things that matter most.
If you like this episode, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Heart Healthy Hustle Show. I'm your host, Jonathan Frederick. We are here with none other than Billy Kyle. Say what's up.
What's going on, guys? It's the second time on the show.
Yeah, this is a it's not a anything. This is a brand new fire episode. We've got Billy Kyle back on the show. Billy, share with the audience what it is that you do exactly. Give them a glimpse into your day to day.
So I'm a college student. I go to St. Joe's, repping the shirt right now.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I do full time, I guess. I do YouTube and I fly drones. I make YouTube videos about drones, and quite recently I've been ramping up my commercial drone business. So flying for clients, shooting photos and videos, a lot of like construction and a lot of these, I guess, inspection jobs that have been falling on my lap. So that's what I've been working on recently. Share
some of your YouTube numbers with the audience.
So right now I'm approaching 58,000 subscribers. I'm pretty close. I guess last time we were talking, I was somewhere around like 20,000. So it's definitely one thing that I've seen, and this could be detrimental to a lot of people in my field, is that drones in general, just I guess the fascination with them is sort of going downhill, and I can see that in my statistics. So.
I got you. Yeah, last time you were on, just do a quick recap. That was episode 16 last year. I think it was actually about a year ago. I was in a different place. I was still in North Carolina. I was in a different town. We actually were talking all about, you're a Philadelphia native.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, of course. Go Eagles, right? So we had that for sure. And the key points from that interview were be grateful, plan ahead, keep the priorities straight, look for opportunities, be proud of your work, and do not overbook yourself. Which I could learn from that right now. Grab as much criticism as you can, and believe in yourself. So you're very learner mindset. You're always a student of life. So it's one of the enjoyments we have is and bringing past guests back on is always a good thing to do. And I'm excited for you, man. I'm excited for all the success that you've been seeing in your YouTube channel and your personal life.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm stoked for you, and I know this is just the beginning. So share with us what we got going on in the background of for those of us who have the luxury of seeing this on video. What's in the background there, Billy? Were you just in a dark dungeon?
So right behind me right here is a backdrop for where I shoot B-roll for videos. You can't just be looking at my face the whole time. So if I'm talking about a drone, do B-roll of it. If I'm talking about a camera, do some B-roll of it. And then behind that, which you probably can't see, is a ton of lighting equipment for where I shoot my A-roll shots. Pretty much me sitting there talking to the camera. I'm currently in my mom's basement. I'm kind of jumping all around, I feel. At first, I was upstairs in my bedroom shooting videos. And then I went to school and I moved my whole entire setup to my apartment, and then from my apartment I then moved back to my mom's house, as I'm here during the summertime, so I'm in the basement. But yeah, man, down here is where I get everything done. And something that I've learned and kind of came across is that if you can do work in a different place than like where you sleep, I think you get a lot more done.
I agree with that 100%. I love that. Yeah, your latest video, Step Up Your Smartphone Photography Game, Sandmark Lenses. I literally
Not drone related.
Huh?
not drone related.
Right. No, this is what I was going to say. Obviously, you can pivot, and you know this, but you're pivoting. I love to see that transition happening, and you're not ditching drones. It's just when's the freaking next one going to actually come out?
Exactly.
So,
well, hey, that's the thing is the last one that we saw that's really worth talking about was the Mavic 2, and at this point in time, that was almost a little bit over a year ago.
That's crazy.
And since then,
Yep. So you did a review on Sandmark lenses. For those of you listening, you did a video on the Google Pixel 3, in October when it first came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that your highest performing video?
You know what? My highest performing video is a video I actually made a while ago, and it was about the intelligent flight modes, and that's got about 700,000 views right now. But the Pixel 3 video is doing well. I'd say that's one of my best performing videos that's not about drones. And just like the title says, that it's my first Android phone in 8 years, it has really changed my opinion on Android. And we were having some conversations about this before the show. About you said you weren't really sure about the operating system because you just got the Pixel, right?
Right. That's correct. I got the Pixel 3. The thing's a beast, and it's great. I just need to learn how to use it. I was coming from an iPhone 6s, so I still have the real life buttons. I have a huge this thing is a brick, and I don't mind. I really don't. I can your face. Whoa, look at that thing. Yeah, no, it's true. And it really when it comes down to it, I brought up the lenses video, Billy, because I want to talk about, you've got that video out now, and I just went and invested in a Moment lens and a Moment case. So did I make a mistake?
You did not. I looked at the Moment lenses a while ago. Sandmark reached out to me and said, do you want to make some videos on ND filters, which ND filters are great, especially for drones. You're outside and you want to lower that shutter speed when you're shooting videos. But how many times can you talk about ND filters, right? So I took a look on their website. I saw they had these smartphone filters, and I said, let me test these next to what the Moment ones or what Moment can offer. I've had the Moment ones in my bag for a year and a half, and they're staying there. They're right there next to the Sandmark lenses, and it's just nice to have two sets. So for me, I'm big on redundancy. I've got almost two of everything. I carry around two drones with me. Okay. I've only got one camera. I need to get another camera. I've got two phones. I've got two battery banks in my backpack. I've got double of everything.
By the way,
having two.
Are you for redundancy purposes, I'm recording this in audio and in video.
Nice. And I'm recording some audio on my end too.
There we go. Triple redundancy. We got this interview in the bag. No matter what tech says no, we're saying yes.
Well, so look, to answer your question, did you make the wrong choice? No. In my opinion, I think that Moment is on top right now when it comes to these smartphone lenses, but Sandmark is a close second.
And it's a big deal. It's a huge deal because what people aren't realizing, or I didn't even realize until I got the Pixel 3, the reason I got the Pixel 3 was to up my photography game and to do it in a sense of I also was wanting to try Google Fi out at the same time. So what's interesting is here we have a new thing where every single phone that comes out, almost every single one, is coming out with a well-equipped camera. The software behind the camera is actually getting amazing, especially on the Google Pixel 3. The camera software is not perfect, but it's very impressive for what it used to be a few years back. Yeah. And honestly, man, I've been looking for the last 3 years. Every year, I just keep waiting and keep waiting and keep waiting. I just rent or I'll hire out my friends' gear, or they'll rent and I'll work with them to do video stuff. And it's really come down to, if I drop like $3,000, I don't have that kind of money just to say, a camera I'll use twice a year to record promo videos. For someone like a YouTube creator, yeah, that would make more sense. But for me, I'm not making video like that. I have my webcam. There really is power and consistency in keeping it super simple. So what I'm getting at is I want to transition into what it's like then having people like Sandmark reach out to you because they are the main competition for Moment, right? And Moment is like basically the brand for quality external lenses. To put it in perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, the Moment lens is $100 and some just for the certain lens, right? The anamorphic, I think, is like $150. So these are solid lenses. These aren't the clip-on fisheye lens that were coming out 4 years ago from China, or maybe they're from China, but they aren't these cheap clip-on lenses that you get at the dollar store. These are actually impressively causing your photos to be enhanced. So
Dude, they're great.
Okay, awesome. So now that we got that, kind of mentioned that latest video because I was curious about that. I'm interested to hear, how does that work? Did they email? Did Sandmark like? Okay, let me just back up and retrace my question.
Mm-hmm.
You've started, you've got products you kind of are featuring and reviewing. Are you now? What does it mean if a YouTuber says this video is sponsored by? What does that mean?
You know what? That's a weird thing, because you see a lot of these videos being sponsored by a certain company, but then in that video they don't talk about that product. And there's one YouTube channel that really comes to mind. I'm not sure if you are familiar with them, Linus Tech Tips. You know who they are? They seem to run heavy on sponsorships, and I don't mind. In the sponsorship in the beginning, I'm just expecting it. I listen to it. It's about some computer company. At the end, it's about some computer company or some antivirus software. But in the middle, that's the main portion of the video. Whereas now, I'll say this: when a company reaches out to me and wants to sponsor a video, I want to center that video around them. I don't just want to, in the beginning, blurb out someone's product or someone's service, and then the whole entire video is not even about that. That's just not really who I am. And I never came into YouTube for the money, and I'm not here for the money. I'm here to teach others, and I'm here to connect, and that's the reason why you and I right now are talking, which is awesome. But my biggest thing is I love collecting gear. I love trying things out, seeing what is the best, comparing them. So usually if somebody's going to send something out, it's kind of an exchange where they'll send me something for free, and then I feature it on my channel, and I couldn't ask for anything more. So to answer your question, because I totally just went off pace there, or went off track, these sponsored videos, I don't think that they really mean anything. To me, there's never been a sponsored video I've watched where I've said, oh, wow, now I want to go and buy this computer, or now I want to go and buy this mouse pad, or whatever it is, because I actually just end up skipping through them.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I hear you on that. For your for where you're at with, I think my roommate is sweeping right now. This is tough, man. This is the hustle right here. We'll talk about fitness too. You're getting into fitness, so I want to touch on that.
Yes,
Let's do this. Let's jump into that. See if you got any questions for me. I went to school for that. So where are you at with your physical health?
So I'm not doing anything crazy right now, but my girlfriend actually started to do Orange Theory. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Tell us what that is.
Do you? What is that? Is that not good?
No, it's good. It's hard. I've never done it, but I know it's not easy.
So it's not on like that CrossFit level where you're doing some crazy stuff, but it is some pretty high repetition, high interval stuff. I've done it a couple of times. I'm getting into it. One of my biggest things, I love closing the rings on the Apple Watch. I'm like addicted. I'm 1 month in, all closed. So
for those of us without an Apple Watch, what does that mean?
So you've got your 3 rings. You've got your activity, your exercise, or your move, your exercise, and your stand. So it counts your calories burnt. It counts when you are exercising, your exercise minutes, as well as your standing hours, basically. So you would need to stand for 1 minute per hour. And I've just been addicted to closing them. And one of the only ways I can close them efficiently is going and doing Orange Theory. So Orange Theory, I mean, basically there's like – I'm still trying to get it down because there's so many of these different classes, but basically you sign up for a class, you do a lot of treadmill running, or what you do is you jump onto the rowers and then you switch from like rower to weightlifting to rower to weightlifting. And there's kind of like 2 parts of the class. It's pretty fun, but my biggest complaint is it's pretty expensive.
Okay. So I don't know if I actually said this with what I mentioned before about getting the new phone. Was I actually, the 90% of the reason for the purchase was for the upgrade in speed, but also for the camera. And that's why I bought that external lens. And that's why I saw your video and also asked you about that. So just kind of provide some context for those who are like, wait, what did he mean by that? That kind of closed that circle, hopefully. I'm just going to go ahead and plug this into my... Excuse me. What I was saying was I'm going to go ahead and plug this into my wrist here. I have a bionic chip. I don't know if you got that new RFID implant. Totally joking for those who do not see the video. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Tech's going on some crazy things. We're already cyborgs. What do you think about that? Everyone with the AirPods. You got AirPods in right now. Yeah, we're enhanced by our phones. Yeah.
You know, I forget. I think it was that Elon Musk, Joe Rogan interview where he was basically saying that we are basically cyborgs now because we carry our phone around with us basically at all times. And today I went to Home Depot and I had my AirPods in, and I looked down the aisle, and all 4 people had AirPods in. What were they doing? Listening to music, talking on the phone? I've got no idea. For me, I was talking on the phone, and I just think it's easier to talk with these in. But I was sitting there in Home Depot, and this guy tried to talk to me. He asked me if I needed any help, and he like tapped me on the shoulder. And I was like, oh my god, like it totally desensitizes you.
Wait, what do you mean? Did you have something playing? What do you mean?
No, I was listening. At that time, I was listening to music because the phone call ended. So I was sitting there on the aisle, kind of looking around, and someone asked me if I needed help, just because it was someone who was working there, and he tapped my shoulder to get my attention. Speaking of all of this, getting somebody's attention, being distracted, I quoted a tweet the other day. In the UK, they're going to demand or mandate and make all new electric cars have some sort of buzzer on them so that they make noise because they're too quiet. And they're causing people don't know that they're there, and they're getting hit by the car.
I heard about that. That's so crazy. I heard they had to sound like gas engine cars.
Exact. Well, so I think that might have been the article title, but it's just got to be some sort of audible noise, I think, that they need to make, which is weird in my opinion. I think that's a step backwards, because having a quiet car is like a plus. It's a plus for having an electric car. That's like a reason you'd want to buy it.
Exactly. That's so weird. Have you done a couple Tesla trips now?
I don't have a Tesla. I still drive a beat up Ford Escape, but that's definitely what I'm trying to work towards, just because not only is it great for the environment, every single time I feel like I'm filling up my gas tank, I'm like, God, like I'm killing something and just smelling the gas. But no, I think that with the amount of driving that I do, I would save a lot of money on gas by just filling up with electricity.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, I just meant in general. Have you test ridden in a Tesla yet? I've
ridden one, and it was a used one at a dealership, and it was at a really good price. But here's the thing: I was gonna buy it used from a Toyota dealership, and they didn't really know anything about the car. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, it didn't go through any sort of refurbish or check through Tesla. What if these batteries are shot, or what if the autopilot sensors are broken or something like that? So
let's jump into your content, your YouTube channel, Billy Kyle. You're almost hitting 59,000 subscribers, which means you've already kind of started that hockey stick. I think you're probably at the very bottom of that hockey stick, and it's gonna, you know what I mean by that with the growth.
So yes, and you know what I've noticed, just because I'm a frequent user of Social Blade, right? I've seen that there's always, like, how it goes is, you grow, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then there's this one spike that takes you really high up, and then you'll come back
you're breaking
where that
up.
spike
What's
is,
that?
and you'll keep going and going. So what I've noticed on Social Blade, as I said, a frequent user, you'll see somebody's channel kind of, they're growing up, down, up, down, up, down, and then there'll be a huge spike where something happens, whether it be, for me, like a new drone comes out and I make videos on it. And then you'll see that actually come back down to the middle of that spike, and then again go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's at least what I've noticed with some of the larger channels. They have this really big boom, and they can hit that boom for a couple of months, but then they come back down a little bit, and they're kind of right at a good spot where they're growing still.
Yeah. So talk to us about the consistency of, or what has it done for your life? Since you started your YouTube channel, what is the act of you putting yourself out there, the act, because you're very in each video, you're sitting there talking to a camera, you're sharing about the products, you're talking about tech, you have to stay updated with that, but you're putting yourself out there for public ridicule. You're not a kid, but you are still young, and age is a number, right? But you are a younger person, as of myself, but it's like, what has it done for you to put yourself out there so willingly, up for ridicule, really, when you're also reviewing products and people are vehemently they're passionate and sometimes vehemently disagree. So, not to just talk or focus on like haters or, detractors. What are the positive benefits that you've noticed from doing this YouTube channel?
It's funny. I was going to go down a negative path.
I know. Cause
Really quickly, I do just want to say I've been doing a lot of work with this guy Ken Dono, and this guy messaged both of us, and he was actually leaking my friend Ken's address online. So there's a lot of people out there that you might offend in some way, and then they'll have this vendetta against you, and they want to come after you. But you need to push that aside because the positive really does outweigh the negative. My biggest thing for me, coming from putting myself out there, is kind of just creating this platform to where people can come and learn, and they might feel safe to make a comment, because a lot of my comment section is really positive. It's other people helping other people, because
so
I don't have all the answers. I can't sit there and hammer in every single thing about a drone. So sometimes there will be somebody out there that's got a tip, and they'll put it in the comment section, and that just adds to the video. So it's not only about myself, it's like creating almost like a community. And this is pretty big when you're flying drones. It's always more fun to have somebody else to fly a drone with. And if you don't have anybody, like for me, I don't really fly with many people in real life, but there's so many people to share that experience with online. I mean, if I fly and I get a good shot, I call up a friend, I post about it, and just other people can all connect. And that's like the biggest thing about flying drones. Personally, something that I've really liked is that it just gives me an outlet to share content. I mean, when you post something up online, you want it to be seen. You don't want it to just sit there and stay stagnant. So it's nice that I'm able to draw some traffic and get some criticism and feedback on what I post.
So let's talk about monetization. Everybody wants to know, how do I start a YouTube? How do I do this? How do I make money? What are you noticing now as you're gaining some traction and your subscriber count is growing? What are you noticing with companies approaching you? I know even when you have a couple hundred subscribers, people will bombard you with stupid things that are really nobody wants to talk about it, because it's like they bought a box of ShopRite cereal and taped their label over it and want you to promote it. Yeah. That's like what happens the first couple hundred. But now you're at the 58,000. You're growing quick. What are you noticing now? Have you gone out and approached companies? What are you noticing?
So I have approached a couple of companies, and a lot of the times it actually doesn't work out. I'll try to find their email, like sales@whatever.com. Yeah. I'll email them, or information@whatever.com. I'll email them, and usually I don't get a response. But there has been a couple of times with smaller companies that I have gotten, some fee or some sort of response from them, whether they say, yeah, let's work together, or they say just, no, we're not interested, which I totally understand. Now, from a monetization aspect, right, YouTube continues to push back the threshold of what you're able to monetize at. And right now I think it's sitting at, you need 1,000 subscribers, and you need like 10,000
hours of watch time
hours. Yeah, so you need a certain amount of subscribers and a certain amount of watch time. And that kind of ups the barrier to entry, because if you're coming in here saying, all right, well, I want to do this as a side hustle and make a little bit of money on the side, you've got to try to grind to 1,000 subscribers at first. And that's not easy, because the hardest part about starting a YouTube channel is that beginning growth. You've got to really post and get your name out there to then begin getting traction. Whereas now, where I'm at, I kind of have the luxury to sit there and over a week I can post 2 videos, but I'm still gaining subscribers every single day. So I mean, if I could say anything to anybody out there who's looking to start a YouTube channel, do it. Grind, evaluate your progress after 2-3 months, see where you stand, and if you're close to that 1,000 subscriber mark, continue to push on, because I'm sure that if you're creating great content, the subscribers will come and your following will come, because those first months can be tough. I remember after the very first month, I gained 100 subscribers, 40 of which I think were like my friends and family and stuff. But I remember I still have that screenshot on my phone of hitting 100 subscribers, and it was surreal. And if you just continue to kind of make those little milestones, big moments, then just imagine what it's going to be when you hit 100,000. So now, real quick, something about monetization, which I've noticed, is that it's actually going up. So let's say you're making, for example, you make $800 in a month. I noticed it's been going up by like 1.5 times. So if you're making 800, you might make like 1,200 now. And that might be because, I don't know if you've seen this, but on YouTube, they've been doubling the ads that you get. So
yeah, I've noticed that.
In the beginning of a video, you'll get 2 ads. So I'm guessing that now the creators are benefiting off of that.
To interject, I'm glad they're doing that, honestly, from the creative's point of view, because if you guys, as creatives, you need to be supported with not just the ad revenue, But it's a little annoying when you're watching it, but people forget that YouTube is completely on demand. It's completely it's free. It's free. You put in so much work into each video. Essentially, if you were to be creating each of these videos as if for that company, you'd be getting paid 10 grand, 20 grand per video for making that promotional product video for these companies. But you're not. You're actually, I mean, maybe sometimes you're getting sponsored, but we'll talk about that too. But it's so interesting to me that so that's why I want to delve into the monetization. What are you doing now where you say, you know what, doesn't matter if YouTube is going to let me monetize or not? Like, are you starting to look at other ways of tying monetization in? Are you going to put like a t-shirt links underneath your videos? Are you looking to, and I know it's not about the money for you, but it's also important to focus on the money as well in this, because who doesn't want to make passive, or it's not passive because you put the work in, but who doesn't want to make residual recurring revenue from videos you've made? So
it's true.
I want to ask you, because what I'm trying to get at is the monetization, regardless of YouTube's barriers. What are you doing and what have you done to combat any negative effects or changes that YouTube has implemented? So for example, when they say, okay, we're going to not let you monetize this anymore for, we don't like this brand or whatever anymore, anything, what are you doing to continue that money coming in or create it?
The key is diversification. So in my unique standpoint, the drones that I purchased to review on my channel and I make videos about, I put to work elsewhere for construction companies, for doing roof inspections, all of the above, drone deploy mapping. So that's one avenue that others might not be able to take advantage of. But more on like a broad scale, something that's huge is affiliate links. So when you promote something through Amazon, when even with DJI, which is the drone company, they've got a really strong affiliate program. So if you're in a situation where you're reviewing a product, those affiliate sales can be very lucrative because you make about 5% commission. So let's say you sell a drone that's $1,500. That's like 75. It's somewhere between like $75 and $90 that you're making, which is a really good return.
From what? So explain that to people who don't know what that is. So you've got a link in your YouTube description that says, here's the drone I just featured. Click the link. It will take them to Amazon, but not just Amazon, correct? It's going to be an Amazon affiliate link. Can you explain all that?
Correct. So yeah, and there's really not a way where you can tell whether it's an Amazon affiliate link or not, at least that I know of. It's just a shorter link, but you can get shorter links from Amazon even if they're not affiliate links. Now with DJI, it's like click.dji, so you can tell that it's like an affiliate link.
But you want the Amazon affiliate link is what we're saying.
Exactly. Yes. So basically, and this is what's pretty cool. Let's say somebody has tens of thousands of dollars of stuff like in their cart, right? And they add toothpaste that they clicked on my affiliate link for toothpaste. I will get the commission off of every single thing inside of their cart, which is insane. Now, the way that this all works is through cookies. So when somebody clicks on my link and adds it to my cart, then a cookie gets left, and then that's how they know that I get credit for it. And the same thing works with DJI. So it's really interesting, and I think that is probably the way that I make money off of online content creation, and it's looking back at like the ad.
You were breaking up. You said that you broke up. You said that's the way you're making money from online content creation. Is that what you said?
It's actually the biggest revenue stream for me is affiliate sales, and anybody that you talk to who does tech and stuff like that will probably agree. And there's a lot of people out there who make T-shirts and they make merchandise and they make a lot of money by selling those. And when they're making so much money doing that, they look at that YouTube revenue as like a nice side bonus. Like it comes in and you're like, oh, okay, nice. I just got my bonus, I guess, because the ad revenue is not that great. So diversification really is key.
Affiliate links are huge. So how would someone go about doing that? The people listening to this, Billy, they may not have a YouTube channel, but some do. No, they're starters. They're starters. They're not people who, most of the people listening to this have started something, whether it's YouTube, whether it's their business, whether it's a side hustle, full out business. It's been going. So these are the starters. These are the people who already have it up and going. They've got maybe a few thousand subs. Maybe they've got more than that. Who knows?
Perfect.
But
yeah.
What would you say to people wanting to incorporate affiliate links, YouTube or podcast, anything?
So basically, if you're going to be reviewing products, you just want to link to anything that you're going to be reviewing. And the way that you can set this up is you go and you create an Amazon Associates account. That's what it's called. And then from there, an extension gets added onto an Amazon page. So you go in there, you copy the text, and then you're able to paste that. And that link is your affiliate link. So for you or for somebody who might be doing a fitness channel, right? You could potentially be using some sort of pre-workout. You could be using or eating some sort of granola bar.
Is it true is it true they only last 90 days?
The cookies?
The links.
Yeah, actually I think it might be 30 days.
Wow.
I'm not exactly sure how long those are valid for. So if somebody clicks on the link and they add it to the cart and they add it to their cart and they buy it 4 months later, then you don't get credit.
So what's a bummer is you could still get after 30 days. Well, let's say the cutoff is 30 days. You have a video up, it's up 31 days. The 31st day, somebody comes in and says, I'm going to buy this drone because Billy's review is awesome and it's the deciding factor. I'm going to go and get it.
Wait, so are you talking about when the link expires?
Yeah, when the link expires.
Huh. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I'm fairly sure that I'm fairly certain that it's 90 days because that was one thing that when I was putting affiliate links in my video, my YouTube videos, I was like, oh, dude, these aren't after 90 days. I'm going to have to redo all of these, which if you copy and you build build the Microsoft Word or whatever, just copy paste it to each of your videos. It's still a pain. And if you don't want to do, you could outsource it to Fiverr or Upwork and someone else can do it for you. But do you want to give that access to them is another question.
Exactly. So here's what I've seen. I get about the same amount of clicks per day. It goes up and down. It's anywhere between like 100 and 150. Now, when I make a video like, the Sandmark lenses aren't on Amazon, but if I make a review on something that's on Amazon, you'll notice a little spike and it'll come back down and it'll continue to go up and down, just like your YouTube analytics. But the thing is, I still have links that I have in my video that have been around for, I would say, over a year, that I created over a year ago that are still in there, and I've got them as just like under my all gear section.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe they stay active. I don't know though. I gotta look into that.
Dude, confirm that after the interview because that's something you don't want to be like missing out on all that potential cash, cash money.
Yep.
So this is something that hit me this morning, and we can talk about this because I know. Well, did you have a favorite success quote you want to share?
I don't know if I used this one last time. What is it? It's something about working hard when nobody's watching.
Yeah, I love that.
What is it?
I don't know the quote off the top of my head, but that concept is so important. Everybody, and dude, I'm not even gonna make this up. It seems more so even with like, it's everyone really, sadly, but more so especially with the younger people. They're coming up like wanting to look even more than ever, which surprises me because, people from the ages of 15 to 20 right now are not stupid. Like I think it's Gen Z, like they're very sharp. They see through all BS in marketing, as do millennials, but Gen Z is just like zero craps given. Like they're so sharp. And yet there's still that unfortunate like influence happening where it seems like so many of that age, particularly, it's everyone, don't get me wrong, it's always been an American culture of just flexing and not literally, but maybe you know what I mean, they're just like want to look rich and want to look cool and want to pretend, and inside it's all rotting and they're miserable and there's no money behind any of it and it's just a big joke. But that's not the case for everyone, and I forget why I went down that rabbit hole except for the fact that you had mentioned doing the work when no one's watching. You're not posting about your work. Nobody sees how much time you put into your videos. Maybe a couple people close to you in real life, but I mean, rarely are you going on, putting on like, oh, I'm, I don't know. It just shocks me. What do you think about that?
It's so easy to do exactly what you just said, Flex. It's so easy to put on a show because you've got your phone and at any moment you can record what you're doing. Well, here's the thing. We're talking about flexing, right? We're talking about putting in the work when nobody's watching. And it's so easy to try and share everything you do because we have phones now. And it's easy to blast it out to hundreds, thousands of people. You know what I mean? It's easy to share everything that you do. But at the same time, What are you doing? Oh,
you see what I was doing there?
Yeah. You're flexing the podcast right now. See, he's being that guy.
Got to do it.
But see, that's the thing. It's so easy to try and share everything that you're doing. And you know what? If you do that and you're actually successful, you might give away too many secrets.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, give us all your secrets today, Billy. That's why we're here.
Can't give away too much of the secret sauce.
Right.
You know what I'll give you? I'll give you one tip. I script a lot of my videos and I do everything voice to text.
I was just making a video on that. Google Docs, you can do voice to text if you are needing to write a bunch of things, like articles. For me, I do show notes for these episodes, and I'm at a point where I need to outsource it. You can do talk to text, voice to text. I didn't even know. Dude,
what is easier than just using your voice? I mean, we've got it in our house. We've got Google Home. We've got the HomePod. We've got Alexa. And there's no faster way to do something than just by calling upon it with your voice, because I mean, you don't have to move your arms or anything.
We're going to do a fun test while we're on this interview here, Billy. So are you ready to be propped or no? Well, it won't be embarrassing because I don't even know if Google works this way. Here we go. We're going to try this out live on the interview here. Are we going to try to find one of your videos? Okay, Google. Open Billy Kyle YouTube. Oh, there he is. Ladies and gentlemen. Search results are there. It just says I need to open YouTube and unlock my phone, I guess.
Do you know what's funny? My biggest goal when I started YouTube was there's this guy. He's a jazz pianist from like the 40s, and his name is Billy Kyle. And I was like, I want to outshine this guy on YouTube. I want when somebody looks up Billy Kyle, they don't know that he exists.
Oh man. Savage.
That's kind of messed up to say, but
I know what you mean, though. I got you. I can catch the drift. I get it. It's cool. Yeah. It's good to have that, just will to win and put in that work. I'm curious, as we're looking at your YouTube channel, what's next for you? Are you going to keep making YouTube videos? Are you going to? Because I see a really bright future. I mean, it's working for you. Look, it's working. So you got something good going. Do you see? So. I want to craft a really good question here because there's certain information that needs to be talked about, which would be like you mentioned earlier, how the biggest benefit to the YouTube channel for you has been really just the community that you've been able to kind of build around it and people you've been able to meet. So talk to us about that. Talk to us about how those connections are facilitated through your online content.
Well, so for me specifically, it's actually gotten me work. It's gotten me jobs in real life, flying my drone. So as the third time that I'm saying it now, I've been doing a lot of work just with construction companies, with property management companies. And I actually got a job with someone in Philadelphia, and their property management company oversees about 40 of these apartment buildings.
Wow.
Right. So they were getting
great job. That's awesome.
Thank you. And that was probably the biggest thing that's come from this. So this woman reached out to me, and I've been doing work for her. They had about 12 roofs they were replacing over the course of about a year. I'd go and I'd take before photos. I'd take photos during. I would take some photos after. So that brought in a lot of work. But then not only was I getting work from this company, but she referred me to other companies, and it's kind of just led down a rabbit hole, and it's just word of mouth.
Did she say how she found you originally?
It was just through YouTube. She typed in Philadelphia drone because they had somebody who they were going to use, and the guy backed out at the last second. So she was scrambling. I guess she was maybe looking on YouTube and stuff. And I do a lot of drone flying around Philly, and I post a lot of Philly-centric videos. So I guess she just found one, and that's how it came about.
That's awesome. I too can share in that. And that wasn't after you made your first 20 videos, was it? That was
no. I mean, that was beginning of 2018. So at that point, I had around like 30 or 40,000 subscribers. So yeah, it still definitely took some time.
It takes time, and that's what I try to drive home with the listener is that you can have an ROI immediately, or you could just be patient, consistent, and focus on keeping it super simple. Keep that consistency. Keep posting, keep it consistent, high quality. Over time. The ROI will come, right? The ROI doesn't
Yes.
have to be right now. Dude, I mean, same for me with this podcast, right? People were listening who I didn't realize were listening. A friend of mine, now one of my better friends, it basically let me know, hey, like I've listened to basically every single episode, and I feel like I know you. And, you know, we met up a couple different times, hung out, and that kind of turned into an amazing referral for me for like work in real life, you know. And
Perfect.
like we say real life, but what we mean is outside of, like completely separate from like the online digital content, right?
Yes.
But it all is still, it's still, so I literally put this podcast that I do on my resume when I decided to go into a full-time position. I put it on there and it set me apart. Like in the past, right? Our resume, that you would never think about doing that. But now it's like, oh, why do you do a podcast? Talk to us about that. And then you get to talk about why they should hire you, you know, and it's just, it is amazing. There's always going to be an ROI. If nothing else, the personal development that you undergo as you pursue this craft, you know?
And here's the thing that I remember in the beginning, what you were talking about is you were actually commending me for continuing to stay in school. But there had been times where I was in class saying, wow, I could be using this time to be making a video, which would then, you know, in the long run, benefit me potentially more. Something that I do truly believe is that a college degree is becoming so common that that's not something that sets you apart anymore. You know, me going to St. Joe's, what's going to be different between the other kid that's going to Temple? I mean, there's got to be something that sets us apart because there's so many people enrolled in college that if you're going to be going after a job, you know, of course you've got your schooling on there, you've got your GPA on there, but you need something to set you apart.
I will interject and disagree only because I agree and disagree. I agree with you. I know where you're coming from, but I would add that I think that college degree, it's not necessary, not at all, but getting it will help set you apart. Yes, it's super common. Everyone has a college degree, right? Quote unquote, right? Like, oh, everyone has who cares anymore? So what else? What else are you going to do to set yourself apart then? But it does help with that initial. It depends where you are in the country, what kind of work you're trying to get. It really all plays a factor. All of it plays a factor. I'm in an area. It is literally the most PhDs per square foot in the entire country. It's the research triangle is that's like a stat. I don't know if I said that correctly or not, but the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area is because you have NC State, you have Duke University, you have Chapel Hill, UNC. So you have all these really fairly prestigious schools that are, you know, everybody therefore really values education, a lot of people, but then that doesn't necessarily make you a success at all either. It's really, like you said, that extra, okay, now I also, you know, I did my time, so to speak, for school. Yeah. I actually like that phrase, did my time, now I grind, or something like that, you know, maybe I should make a shirt, but no, but you know, it's really, I agree with you in that regard. But it is also this, don't be, I look at it like this, right? Like, I am glad I have a degree. I'm glad. Am I doing work in the degree that I went and got? No, but I still have that degree. I still put down, I have a bachelor's. I put that on my resume. So, I mean, it matters only if you plan to use it later. And it is an experience, and maybe not only, but that's my opinion. So.
Yeah, and you know, there's these different classes, as you said. There's like people who have graduated college. There's people who have only graduated high school. There's people who maybe haven't graduated high school. So in this pool of everybody who has a college degree, what sets you apart? Or in this pool of those who haven't even gone to college, what sets you apart from the rest of them? Or what will be good enough to bring you up to the pool of graduating a college degree? What is going to be, in the eyes of an employer, something that outweighs that college degree?
I got to flex on people, let them know I'm always working.
You got to post about 10 stories a day.
No, but facts in terms of growth. The funny thing is, I had a car accident, Billy, before I did this podcast. Man. And it was a bad car accident. What's that?
Today?
No, not today. Thankfully, no, not today. Today's excuse,
are you all right?
Not yet. Never mind. The car accident, though, let me put it to you this way. When you almost die, or when you realize you could so easily have died and you don't, and then you turn on Instagram and you see that some girl is trying to get attention, or some guy is just bragging, or whatever. And I'm not saying that that's what all these posts are, because it's not, but a lot of it has some of that in it. It really takes out motivation for you to want to post. You're just like, why do we care about this at all? It doesn't matter. I'm going to call my family. I'm going to call my friends. I'm going to do something in real life. I like posting. I like sharing. I like the update aspects, but what I'm trying to get at is when I post, I look at it very business minded. I did a whole entire episode on this. I post because you have to. If you have a brand, I literally didn't post any like portraits. I posted a picture of myself from a distance. I didn't post any portraits for like the first 6 months plus until I realized multiple marketing companies were telling me you have to post pictures of yourself, literally. And so, yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of different strategies that you can approach when you're using Instagram, when you're using YouTube, when you're using any of the social media sites. But I do think that having your face out there and associating yourself with your brand is definitely something that you want to do. But then you look at somebody like Marshmello, right, who wears a mask, and but now that mask has almost become his face.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I don't know. You know, there's a lot of different ways to approach it.
It's a good point.
Funny, I've been in 3 car accidents with 3 totaled cars. So 3 pretty bad accidents in my, I guess, short time of driving. It's been like 7 years.
You need to learn how to drive or get yourself a self-driving Tesla. I'm just going to say.
So I had somebody run a stop sign and hit me. I hit a deer. I guess
I also hit a deer. Okay.
Yeah. I'll call that my fault. And then the most recent one was actually just after the Eagles had won the Super Bowl. And I was in Minneapolis for the game. I didn't go to the game, but I was tailgating, and I was driving back. And in Chicago, somebody blew a red light, and I hit them. So that was the worst because not only was my car totaled, and I could have died, but also now I had to take all of the gear I brought with me onto a plane back home, and that was a pain.
Unreal. Wow. That stinks, man. Wow.
Have you ever tried to bring 4 drones onto a plane?
Oh, geez. No.
Yeah, it's a pain.
That sounds terrible. I've taken one and it's enough.
Yeah.
Wow.
You go through TSA and they rip apart your bag.
Oh, dude, I only had that happen once, and they're like using the brush, pretending they're like, you know, like seeing if the pad changes color, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how that stuff works either. My friend brought a box of ding dings on the plane, and they had to check that too. They were wiping the side of it with the cloth.
Are you talking about like the food?
Yes, yeah. Like
that is crazy.
Like they were individually packaged inside of the bigger box, and they were wiping the side of the box.
It's so funny. It is so funny. I could just picture that. That's why I busted out laughing.
You can open the box if you guys want to.
You can have one.
Yeah.
Oh, unreal. Wow. So
about the TSA stories, you know who MKBHD is, right? On YouTube, he's got
tech
about 8
reviewer
million subscribers, tech reviewer. He goes through TSA all the time with all of his camera gear, and he's got the red weapon, and it's the red weapon with the hydrogen sensor. It shoots 8K video. It is worth $49,000 for just the body alone, so more than a lot of people's cars. And as he was going through, they were like, "Look, we need to take this thing apart and make sure it's not a bomb." And he was like, "No, you don't. No, you can't do that."
That's unreal. Yeah, that's unheard of. I would just not fly if they did that. And the crazy thing is, too, like the older I get, the more I realize almost all of that stuff. Yeah, TSA matters, but it kind of depends on the person. Like if someone wants to give you a hard time because they don't like the way your face looks, like they can do that. And like that's the reality of the world we're living in, is that a lot of it is just bureaucracy and just, does that person like your face expression or not, and they get to kind of decide and dictate. So I think that's part of the draw to entrepreneurship that I have, is like having the least amount possible of other people having any effect on the way my life unravels, if that makes sense. You know,
dude, it makes perfect sense.
And it's funny because the more you do entrepreneurship, the more you find how even just in daily examples, how quickly and how aggressively people want to transfer. Like misery always will have company, always will.
Oh yeah.
I believe it's actually way easier to we don't have to go down that route. Anyway, let's jump into the heart healthy hustle round, Billy. I want to hear, you know, you're getting back into, you're getting pretty heavy into health and fitness right now. I want to hear what activity what's your go-to activity to care for your, and strengthen your internal character for your heart?
So it's gonna sound so dumb, but
No.
I recently got a dog, and spending time with him is just been like everything to me.
What kind of dog?
He's a Pomeranian. When I got him, they told me he was a full-bred Pomeranian. He's definitely not a full-bred Pomeranian. He's big. He's a big boy. But he's just been like everything to me. I love going on walks with him. I love coming back and seeing how excited he is. He comes with me sometimes when I work. He'll come and sit in the car, and he's so good. He's the best. So he's been like my sidekick.
That's awesome. What's his name?
Astro.
What is it?
Astro. Astro.
Okay. How'd you come up with that?
Well, here he is right here. You want to say?
Hey, Astro. What's up, dude?
So he I don't really know how I came up with the nickname. Me and my girlfriend share him, and I don't know. We just thought Astro. We thought it was a good name, so we call him. He's like a little astronaut.
I see. I like it. He's a cutie.
Yeah,
that's
good.
Great. Anything else? So spending time with your dog. That's actually a really nice, fairly therapeutic activity. I can't deny it. So.
Yeah, well, you know what, and it's always going to come back to this, man. I love flying my drone. There's something about it that just totally, you can totally disconnect. You just focus everything on flying. You want to try to get better shots than you did the last time. There's so many great things about it, and with you flying drones, you probably know the same thing. You feel the 100%. Same way. I'm hoping at least.
You know what's interesting is that I actually I was going through a hard time when I first got into drones, and I would go out and fly them, and it's exactly right. And I think it's because it engages all your senses, and because simultaneously you're scared you're going to lose that flying investment, you know?
Yes, exactly.
You're like, where is it? Oh, what? Oh.
I'm glad you said that. It is an investment. When you buy it, you can easily make your money back with it if you play your cards right. So if there's anybody out there who really is interested in getting into drones, yes, you have to take a test in order to do commercial work. Yes, you need to buy an expensive drone. Yes, you need to find clients. But when the work there's work there. It's not if there's work there. There is definitely work there, and it's an investment, definitely.
Thank you, by the way, for recommending State Farm Insurance for non-commercial drones, because I cashed in on that, crashed mine.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did your deductible go up?
I honestly never renewed it because I still have the drone. Okay. It's not completely fried. It just crashed into a light pole, came down, cracked, and then it still works, but there's a little glitchiness in there. Yes. And they never asked me to turn it in. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to keep it, you know?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, too. If you lose it and it goes in the water, they'll give you your money back.
Yeah.
So
huge insurance, guys.
Yeah. I just recently got business insurance actually through State Farm, and they can't list me as drone insurance, so I've got like photography insurance.
Yeah.
You know something crazy? A company I was doing work for required me to have $6 million of liability insurance.
Jeez.
$6 million.
You can use the app, right? Verify.
They didn't. I told them about that. They said no. So for them, I had to go out and get business insurance. But it's fine because I've got the insurance now, and I can promote that. And everybody, no matter what you're doing, you've got to have some sort of insurance.
Wow, that's good that you got it though. Now you got those bigger jobs.
Yeah,
hustle.
I'm happy about it.
Health, not hustle. Health. How do you maintain your physical health when your default mode is just full bandwidth all the time?
So, I think closing my rings is the biggest thing because you have to have some sort of activity in your day to actually close them. So that's something that keeps me active. But also doing Orange Theory, trying to keep up with my girlfriend, and also like her sisters and some of her family do it. So being able to try and keep up with them and go with them and have a fun time, not just going out and working out and saying, oh, this sucks, but being able to go out and have fun with them. So, I think that rather than say, oh, I'm too busy to work out, you need to make an effort to actually say, no, I'm going to work out because it definitely is going to be helpful in the long run.
It's a good point. It's easier said than done, isn't it?
It is. Definitely is.
Hustle. What's your main motivation for doing what you do? What's your why?
So my why is to have a better future. And quite recently, I've been thinking not only about the short term, but about the long term, and where I want to be and where I want to set myself up to be when I'm an adult and I have kids. And it's kind of something hard to think of when you're a college student because you're so focused in the now. But I've been hanging out with a lot of people who around me are a little bit older and they're in different positions than I am, and just learning from them. A lot of people who maybe have made mistakes or haven't made mistakes and say they're glad they did what they did. They're able to give me advice, and one of their biggest pieces of advice is invest or save or do this or do that. So my why right now is out of college to be able to buy a house right out of college, no apartment renting, throwing my money away, because that's what I did, and that's what I'm going to do my senior year is be in an apartment. But once you leave that apartment, you just threw the rent away. You've got nothing to show for it. So I want to be able to invest my money and get a house that I can live in. That's my why right now.
I like that. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
I believe you'll get it 100%. I believe it's possible.
Thank you. I hope.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that thinking bigger is so key. Like, I will share another quick example. When you go for something that you want, don't be romantic about the outcome. Yes, plan ahead, but don't be romantic about the process, because an opportunity might come where you're doing your drone. For example, in your case, Billy, you're doing drone videos, but then someone comes up and says, hey, we have like 10, was it the biggest apartment complex or something like that in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
We got these huge buildings that we need drone shots of, and we saw your YouTube channel that you've been working hard on, and, let's meet up and, say, well, pay me the cash and we'll talk. No, but and
show me the money.
Yeah, it's great. And I think it's important. I think, one thing I want to touch on, and it'd be great to, hear your opinion on this and point of view, is value. It's like, if you value that, you're going to have to put the time into studying it and actually valuing that. You'll prioritize it, and you'll learn about you'll learn about long-term investing. You'll learn about, earning the luxury of risk. You'll learn about, you'll learn about financial stability and finances, because a lot of people say, and I'm learning this now for myself, oh, well, money's not everything. It's not that important. Or people will even say, like you just said, like, I want to do well. I want to, I want to have a house right out of college. I want to do well in my future for my family. If that's really a value, then the actions do reflect that. It can't just be something we talk about. It's got to be, like, what are your books you're reading? What are the courses you're taking? What are the people you're learning from, your mentors, and making sure that the mentors are actually curated to each specific category. So someone might be excellent mentor for you in one area, but in the other area, you don't ask questions about that. You say, hey, like, clear expectations. Can we talk about this? And many times people are more than happy to help. Here's the thing too, man. And I'm sure you felt it. Do you feel this when people come to you and say anything about YouTube or drones? Do you ever feel more inclined to help someone who asks you sincerely for help or a question than somebody who needs your help but just refuses to ask?
Yes. The people that I really refuse to help are the people who, there's a lot of people who ask for freebies.
Right.
So
my point,
handouts.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My point is just, people are so afraid to ask for help these days. And it's just like, if you would just ask for help, people like helping. They love helping.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I think I do understand your question. I never had somebody refuse my help, especially when it comes to drones, I think, because people are so scared. They're like, look, I'll take all the help that I need because I want my $1,000 drone going down. I haven't had too many stubborn people. A lot of people are really reluctant to learn about it because drones are so, I don't know, they're so new. They're so, new.
You know what's amazing as well, long term? Have you ever thought about that? Okay, like right now you're thinking, okay, I'm Billy Kyle. I have a YouTube channel. I'm doing a podcast with Jonathan. I'm in school. I'm going to buy a house when I get out of college. I got these drone jobs. I'm trying to balance life. I got my new dog, Astro. Have you ever thought about the long term? So like 10 years from now, what if YouTube, like even with that double monetization, we didn't know that was going to happen with videos. But now, all of a sudden, every single video that is eligible to be monetized is eligible, I guess, for those double ads or something like that. So have you ever thought about long term, like what can happen? Think about 30 years from now, if YouTube is still around, your videos are going to have like 30 billion views plus. It's crazy. It's but it's really going to happen is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I hope by then we've got new drones, so my old videos aren't getting views.
We'll be in drones, my friend.
But so I've always thought of, I don't think of anything in the future as positive. I think of how to brace for the negative, right? So rather than say, what if they double the ad revenue in the future? I think to myself, what if YouTube is gone?
Okay.
Or instead of thinking to myself when I'm older, what if there's all of these jobs where I'm going to be able to work for anybody who has a drone or whatever? I think of what if in the future drones are literally outlawed by the government and flying them for any sort of purposes is fully prohibited. So it really has made me wonder. And that question right there, what's going to happen if drones go away, I still haven't answered yet. So I've got to think of a good answer for that.
I think that you should adapt to just doing tech if that was to happen, which you're already doing.
That's why I try to diversify. I show my audience that not only am I here for drones, but look, I've got knowledge in a ton of other areas so that down the road, if something really does happen to drones or it just continues to be stagnant like it is, and in 5 years they literally haven't updated any of the drones because they're still so good and we're tired of talking about them, I have shown that I can talk about other things, and if I have to, I will.
That's awesome. I should start incorporating this. It's called the awkward silence. See how the guest reacts. I may actually do that. Give it a chance. That's a secret weapon for interviews. People don't know. Just let the awkwardness arise.
Yeah.
It's good. It's funny. Typically when I'm interviewing somebody and I just stop talking, people think that I did it on purpose, but sometimes the guest just wants to keep saying something and I forgot what I was going to say, so I just stopped talking.
People watching the podcast right now are probably looking at their phone or their computer saying, wait, did I accidentally hit pause?
Yeah. Yo, we should have done that on purpose, choreographed that. That's funny. Oh, man. So,
we're still here.
Yeah, we're still on. Speaking of finances, speaking of investing, speaking of just buying your first house, have you began reading? Have you began doing some research, or is that kind of a to-do?
It's a to-do. Right now, I'm trying to put away as much money as possible. And something that I've been thinking about is, you've always got to have some sort of like emergency fund, right? You've always got to have money stashed away, so if something happens, you can fall back on it. But aside from having that emergency fund, if you just keep piling it on, what's your money doing for you? So I'm somebody that is definitely down to take a risk. So I haven't been investing most of my money, but I want to begin investing most of my money. Not to get too specific, but index funds and just straight up single stocks are what I'm looking to go after.
Okay. Yeah, I would keep seeking that mentorship, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I think one of the first lessons that I learned, I'll just share with you because you mentioned investing. I invested most of my money for the same reason, and then this was last year or the year before, and then I started leveraging money as well. And I leveraged it from, all in. I was almost up to like $14,000 in, and nice. I grew it to over $50,000 in value in a fairly short amount of time. It was kind of ridiculous. Like I found all these loopholes. It was all legal, don't worry. But it was something where I was getting like a euphoric rush. I was like, wow, my student loans will be paid off, all this and that. Well, long story short, I didn't pull out of the market at the right time, and I ended up getting stuck with all the debt and none of that profit. Barely any of the profit, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest lessons I learned was you're risk tolerant. You even said it. I'm risk tolerant. My financial mentor literally said, okay, what is the mistake, like the how many months of a mistake was that? So he did the math, and it was like a 3 months worth of income mistake for me. So I was like, all right, that was a big mistake. A lesson that I learned, a slap on my wrist. I'm kind of glad I learned that though, because now I can take that forward and understand the importance of investing, understand the value of the dollar working for me versus just depreciating, and yet still understanding like that percentage is important to assess before just going all in. So I would definitely relay that lesson to you to hopefully avoid that, because you mentioned like most of your money. So just sharing my experience so far.
And I'll take that with
salt.
No, what's the opposite of a grain of salt? Is there even an opposite?
Consideration? I don't know. I've never heard.
No,
I don't know.
I'm definitely going to think about it, and I think that just like with diversifying income, I think diversifying your investments also is something that could potentially be good.
100%, and in yourself as well. Doing all this YouTube and everything is a huge investment in yourself. Me doing a podcast is a huge investment in my future, in myself.
Oh yeah.
Yep. It really is. It's the world we're living in. Do you have any opinions on that? That how invaluable it is to experiment with this stuff?
Well, it's almost just like you said, right? About how what were we talking about? How it sets you apart, right? So you go into a job interview, you do a podcast, and the guy who has, maybe went to the same school, didn't do a podcast. Well, wow, that's interesting. What is your podcast about? What have you learned from it? What has it taught you? So I think that just like we went over in the last podcast that I was on, it is a learning experience, because not only am I teaching information through my YouTube videos, but I'm learning when I put them together, because I need to learn that information that I spread. And also, just making these YouTube videos has made me proficient in using my computer as a whole, using software like Final Cut Pro, just all editing software, the use of cameras. It's some great skills to have.
Even widescreen webcams that are obnoxious.
Yes, exactly.
We were talking about we were talking about that before the show. Why are these nice webcams so widescreen? Because they record everything behind you. And typically a webcam, the point is to keep it close in so you don't have to clean up your room or wherever you are.
Well, hey, look, I didn't even know we were doing video. I would have cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Get your act together, Billy. Come on. Oh, man. Are you still playing lacrosse?
I am, yeah. You know what?
Wow.
We slowed down, but during the fall, we'll pick back up. We'll do like a little, we'll play like 3 games, have some practices, just get together, break for the winter, and then spring is when we start up, and we'll have like 2. I just play clubs, so we'll have like 2 practices a week. We play, sometimes 2 or 1 game a week. So it's fun. It's just something to continue to play, continue to get out there, have some fun, and pull me away from work, which is nice.
Love it. Love your attitude and your outlook, Billy. Keep up the great work, my friend. More on Billy Kyle. You can go to his website. We're going to link these in the show notes in the actual podcast. Just scroll down. We'll have it in the notes. Billy's YouTube channel, your Instagram, your Twitter, Facebook. Are you still on Snapchat?
Yeah, you know what? I've got my Snapchat on my YouTube channel, but man, that update that they did like a year ago, they killed it. I don't know what's going on that app anymore. Too much stuff.
Okay, I'm not familiar. I haven't had it for a couple years personally, but
you're lucky.
Yeah, I believe you. I have. All right. So, what is your handle? It's just your first and last name at Billy Kyle.
Billy Kyle on most of the things. I try to keep it consistent.
It's great. Okay. What's a parting project or current? What's something getting you out of bed in the morning currently?
So I'm learning, and I'm trying to figure out how to take a long-term time lapse, and this is used for like a construction company. And I'm a little nervous because tomorrow I will be installing a camera on a job site where a new warehouse is being built, and that camera will sit there for over a year, taking 5 photos a day. So pretty interesting. I'm actually testing it behind me right now. Inside, I've got a personal hotspot. I've got a battery. I've got a solar panel on top, and it's a full weather sealed kit, and it's got a GoPro inside. And the GoPro takes great photos. It still shoots raw photos. So basically, everything is inside of this kit. It's going to be put on a pole about 20 feet high, and it's just going to take photos twice a day. And what's great about it is it's got a little computer inside of it. It's like a little like an intervalometer. So what it does is it counts the time, and every hour between 10 and 2 o'clock, it turns on the GoPro. The GoPro takes a photo, and then it turns it off. And then, that's at 10. And then at 11, it does the same thing. 12, it does the same thing. And at the end of the day, I'll get an email from that little computer, and it says, okay, the battery level is this. We took this many photos today. All status is good. So that's something I'm working on right now, and it's been a couple of months in the works.
That is impressive. I'm impressed.
You want to see it? I can pull it out.
Yeah, pull it out.
All right. So, I guess for your viewers here,
you guys got to go to YouTube. You got to go to YouTube to see this. This thing is insane. Oh my gosh.
This is it. Yeah, so it's made by this company called Camdo. They make a lot of everything, but I rigged it up with the hotspot so that it'll upload everything over the cloud. It's got this big solar panel up on top here. It's got a little mounting arm back here. So I've got everything I need. It's set right now. It's taking photos every 5 minutes, and I'm listening for the beeps. So my one thing that I'm testing right now is how hot it gets. So I've been running this for about a day and a half right now. It's just been picking up from the solar panel. So I want to make sure on the inside it's not getting too hot, because if things get overheated, then things will break.
So is that the wire from the solar panel to the actual GoPro?
Correct. Yeah. So there's actually this wire runs through into the bottom of the case, and with this case, it's like a little membrane. It's like a little hole, and you spin it so that it closes and wraps itself all the way around the wire. Which I'm glad that I'm doing this right now, because I would have forgot when I hang it up tomorrow and leave it there for a full entire year. So yeah, man, I'm pretty amped about it. The inside is just a bunch of wires and components, and I don't feel like taking it apart. But it's definitely something that I'm interested in doing, because I think it's a great source of passive income. There's not many people doing these time lapses. You set it up once, you continue to monitor it via email, and if there's a day where it says, look, we didn't take any pictures today, then you got to get out there and diagnose it. But other than that, it's just sitting there making you money.
How do you mean passive?
Because I go and I hang it up, and I charge the company per month to basically rent it. So every single month that this is on site, I charge them. And I gave them a pretty good deal, because this is going to be on there for over a year. So I'm pretty excited.
That's awesome, man. I love it. Well, keep up the good work, Billy. I appreciate you coming back on the show for a round 2.
Yes, definitely.
How many interviews would you say you're doing on podcasts? Not a ton, right? I mean,
no, yeah, this is like my 4th or 5th. I mean, and it's probably the best. You've definitely improved since the first one. So thank you for having me on. And
how's the best way for us to support?
Subscribing, liking, watching the videos. That's pretty much the biggest thing. But look, if you're not into drones, you don't have to come over, because I know that'll probably bore a lot of people if they watch videos they're not into.
Videos, you got tech videos on phones. Like for me, I legitimately tell you this, and I know it will encourage you, because it did for me with one of my interviews. Somebody found it organically. I found your Pixel video organically. I was literally, that's why I texted you right away. I was like, oh, dude, I was looking up Pixel videos and yours popped up. Props. And this is what I love. This is what I love, because we, as I do this podcast, I'm always looking for who is the next wave. Like, what are we, like, where are we going? And, obviously I could try to get NKBHD on the show, including others, but having someone like yourself on the show, a friend of mine, Mike Rosehart with real estate, you guys are all up and coming. You're the next wave. And I love seeing that, because I'm really, it's not only just like validating to see that the people I reach out to are actually continually doing well and doing better and better, but it's so exciting to see your success, because that was completely organic. I searched for the video, and whatever it was, whether it was the quality of the video, the watch. Congratulations on making it to the end of this episode. What about this episode stood out to you? Next, I need your help sharing this show. I want this podcast to impact and reach 6,000 people per episode by August 31st, 2019. And I want us to reach 15,000 people per month by March 29th, 2020. Have you been enjoying multiple episodes of The Heart Healthy Hustle? I'm thrilled to share with you an exclusive invitation to join our new Facebook community. To get to know other Heart Healthy Hustlers, simply go to thehearthealthyhustle.com/Facebook, where you can expect to see different members of our community being featured weekly in Facebook Live calls. I appreciate all of your love and support, and I will see you in the next episode. As always, be generous on every occasion. There is a story for you, and live wide open.